Hello everyone, how's it going? Mick MMA here. I told you I was going to look into if there was going to be a BKFC event this weekend, and there is. We got Let Me Bang Julian Lane fighting in the main event, which I will break down. But first, we're gonna get started with the lower card over here. Starting off with Meehan versus Wall. Now, I ended up choosing Meehan. Round one KO slash TKO. He looks like he's got the build. Wall looks a little bit out of shape, if I'm gonna be honest. Maybe he'll come to the fight in shape, but Meehan looks like he's been getting ready a little bit more than Wall over here. So next fight. Oh yeah, and I was gonna say round one KO slash TKO. A lot of these guys are gonna be round one KO slash TKO predictions, so just get ready for that. But anyways, on to Lennon versus Kreitel. Coming in with 2 losses in the BKFC, not too good. So that's why I have Lennon by round 1 KO or TKO. Yeah, just not really great to have 2 losses on your BKFC record. I mean, they'll let him fight. They'll let him keep coming in and fighting, but they're just setting up these other guys to get a nice knockout or something. Plus, he's got a little Marine tattoo on his belly there, so he's gone through some hardship, this Lennon guy. Anyways, move on to Navarro versus Grady. Also, round 1 KO, TKO. Keep forgetting that. Won't forget anymore. I keep remembering it. I picked Navarro by round 1 KO or TKO. Grady with 3 losses and 1 win isn't looking too good. So that's why I got to go with Navarro there. Next, we have Randall versus Strode. Now, I picked Strode because in the odds at the top here, he's a minus 356. So whatever background he has, they're pretty confident that he's going to come in and get the dub. 4-2, so he has some experience at the BKFC, but the 2 losses is probably why Strode is going to be coming in. I think these 2 losses are recent probably for why he's the underdog. So picking Strode by the round 1 or round 2 KO. Because of the experience of Randall, he might survive a little bit better than some other people will against Strode. So we'll see what ends up happening. But Strode by round 1 or round 2 KO slash TKO. Next, we move on to Mr. Porter versus Mr. Gormley. Looking like absolute killers right here, especially Porter. And if I am not mistaken, this is the Parker Porter from the UFC coming into the BKFC because he got cut from the UFC. I think I forgot what his last fight was. I don't remember, but just based off that, we have to go by Porter round 1 KO slash TKO. Always rooting for our ex-UFC fighters to make a name for themselves in another organization and prove why the UFC is home to some of the best fighters around the world. But yeah, I got Porter, round 1 KO, TKO. Next, we move on to DeCastro versus Brits. I got good old DeCastro. DeCastro, I don't forget where he's coming from. I think he's also like somewhat I think he's notable in some. I forget where I've seen him before. I think I've seen him knock someone out before. I'm pretty sure. Somewhere in a faint memory, I have someone that looks like DeCastro getting a knockout. And yeah, Brent's isn't looking too good on the old odds over here. Is plus 246. So for that reason, we have to go with DeCastro. Again, by round 1 KO or TKO. Next, we move on to Disculio versus Foy. I'm picking Foy. I think that's how you say it, Foy. I know he's 1-2, which isn't the best, but they have him as a slight favorite, minus 128. He has the experience. Disculio could be coming in with no experience at all for the BKFC, so that's never too good. So we got to give it to the old veteran over here, Foy, and we're going to choose by round 1 KO or TKO. I think he's going to make it happen fast. A lot of these are going to happen. End up happening fast, so that's why I typically predict the round 1 KO or TKO. That's the name of the game of BKFC. You'll hear me say it multiple times and reiterate why I choose round 1 KOs and TKOs in case you haven't figured it out now. because I've said it a million times. Anyways, Santiago versus Cochrane. Now, I've seen Cochrane before. This guy's pretty good. That's why I'm picking him. And I think he gets it done in the second or third round. I think what I remember of seeing him, he's not a first-round finisher kind of guy. So he ends up kind of figuring you out maybe in like the mid/later rounds. So I'm going with Cochrane by round 2 or 3. Plus he's minus 200, so slight favorite here. He's got more experience. 6-2 is a pretty good record of the BKFC. So yeah, going with Cochrane, round 2 or round 3 KO/TKO. Next, we're moving on to Ward versus Dennis. Now, they have Ward as a minus 335. I feel like I've seen Ward somewhere else. I just forget where. I feel like he's had a couple MMA fights and is coming over from some sort of MMA organization. I believe so. Could be wrong. But I have him by the round 1 KO or TKO. Mainly also because Dennis has the Irish Pride tattoo on his stomach. The Irish have not been doing very well. Plus, I just noticed too, he has 2 hideous looking leprechauns, one on his left pec and one on his right pec. That just looks very interesting. Now, I am eventually going to probably get a leprechaun or like a 4-leaf clover tattoo, but this guy made it look all ugly and weird looking. But anyways, moving on to our main event, we have Lane and we have Let Me Bang Austin, or is it Julian Lane? I want to say Austin Lane. Julian Lane, yes. Julian Lane. I mean, I said at the beginning of the video, so whatever. Anyways, Julian Lane, Let Me Bang any way he wants, man. Round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. It's a matter of when he decides to let himself bang and win the fight. I have him by round 3 or round 4 KO or TKO. He's proven to be quite a veteran in the BKFC. I know he's had 7 losses, but the dude is he fights all the way to the end, man. He keeps banging, and he won't stop banging until he's banged you out. So yeah, you gotta watch out for that with Austin Lane. And then with Van Camp, you know, he's got the jiu-jitsu belts across his chest or whatever. This isn't jiu-jitsu. This is almost essentially a street fight without any tripping to the ground and falling to the ground, you know. We're not doing jiu-jitsu in any BKFC fights. We're banging. And with a nickname like Let Me Bang, well, you know Austin Lane or Julian Lane is going to do what he says he's going to do. And if you haven't seen him from the UFC clips, he's pretty hilarious. He's had experience in MMA organizations, but his home now is the BKFC, where he's done quite good. I know he's lost against Mike Perry and a couple of other people, but I think he's like on a 3-fight win streak, which is pretty good. So yeah, good for Austin or Julian. I don't know why I keep saying Austin Lane. Who am I thinking of when I say Austin Lane? There must be some fighter named Austin Lane that I'm thinking of that I can't remember their face that relates to that. But anyways, that is my pick for the main event. So those are my picks for the BKFC event there. I'm going to make a video as well on the Bryce Mitchell situation. And I think I'm going to also bring up Patty versus Michael Chandler and what I think is who's going to winning that fight. So stay tuned for the next video. Of course, tomorrow I'm going to be waking up early so that way I can cover the full Saudi Arabia card that's going to be happening with the UFC. Then later in the day, BKFC is going on, so keep an eye out for that. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the makeup. It was kind of annoying to deal with last time. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. I don't know, it's kind of my thing. I want to save it maybe just for numbered UFC events and like big BKFC events too, because Knucklemania 5, it was pretty big, got a lot of attention. And the PFL event was pretty big, but this is kind of a fight night weekend, so I think I'll just stay clear of the makeup. You let me know in the comments if you want to see me in the clown makeup on weekends covering the events. I'll do it. If not, I'm just gonna save it for the numbered events, so that way I'm not wasting material and I'm not ruining my acne in my face and stuff like that too as well, because the grease makeup is harsh. I'm gonna maybe try to look into some other alternatives for some like nice, safe, good feeling makeup or whatever. But yeah. Anyways, looking forward to the UFC and BKFC tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.